Hey, hi. Nice to meet you. My name is Esteban Manrique, and today we are going to explain about the questions 16 seconds, the activity. First question: can you describe a cultural tradition from another Colombian regions that you can learn about during the event? I can learn about the Pacific region tradition. During cultural events, I can learn about the Pacific region landscape. We can learn many cultural values from the tradition. Colombia must preserve and promote these traditions because they are part of our identity. We may share these customs with future generations so they can respect and appreciate Colombian cultural diversity. Yes, for example, I can take a trip in a June to whale watching and the bird of their calves. I can go by speedboat from the port of Buenaventura. Second question: which region would you like to visit in the future? And what cultural activities may you experience there? We can respect the custom of different Colombian regions bathe in the Atrato River. We can swim in the Atrato River, jump from the mountains, go fishing, and eat fried fish. Fried fish. Third, third question: what can people from different Colombia regions learn from each other? Visitors can preserve cultural tradition. By practicing them, people can learn respect, cultural diversity, traditional knowledge, and different ways of life, ecosystems in the Gulf Capes of the regions, from Pacific or Caribbean. For example, you can practice glimping nature. We find animals, facilities for technicals, mining, training in Choco. The next question: why must Colombia protect its multi-ethnic and pluricultural heritage? Okay, communities can promote their cultural heritage through festivals. We have communities in the Pacific such as the Raizal people, those from the island, no? The campesinos, those from the countryside, the blacks or indigenous people. And we can understand all these topics with books like the Constitution or protection laws. In Quibdó, Chocó, speaking of heritage, when you visit the museological experience in the Afro Memory Center, technology use of augmented reality, exhibition of slave ships, natives can share their traditionals with tourists. The next question, 5. Can you name a custom, food, dance, or musical style from another region that impressed you during the meeting? Okay, music style with curulao. It's based on the harmonic foundation of the marimba. The marimba is the iconic drums, male and female, that guide the rhythm, and the large drums made the leader for bass sound cylinder file with sets that serve as a maraca, leader drums. Okay, with deep sounds. I may learn more about traditional music from the Pacific region, yes, because the people may respect cultural difference when they meet other communities. Some traditions may preserve ancient knowledge and customs. For example, ceviche, fresh fish, yes, fish soup are experienced differently in the Pacific region, cook differently with more sazon. Okay, the families practice the cooking, may share the traditional knowledge and pass the new generation. Mm, can the tourists share these options with the natives aspect, such as a food, communal meals? Ok, es- estas son las 5 preguntas y el siguiente audio trae las siguientes 5 preguntas. Okay, teacher, let's go with the second part. The question is, what may happen if younger generation do not preserve their regional tradition? Okay, the traditional customs may disappear, and communities may lose part of the cultural identity. What might happen? People might stop valuing their identity. Their knowledge might be lost. They might become distant from the neighbors. And between us, look at another like a stranger with no communication. There would be no unity, and they wouldn't be able to get ahead with job opportunities. So the conflicts and social problems have no solution because they do not come together as a municipal action board. So the solution, okay, municipal action board. Okay, the next question. What can visitors learn about Colombia when they meet people from different regions? Visitors can learn about Colombia cultural diversity, traditional language, and local custom. What you can see is how by coming together. These groups strengthen themselves and remain united under a single identity, with their own problems which can discuss with the help of municipal council, their own rule, their own rules, their own leaders is the solution. That is the solution. They have your own rules, their own leaders in his space in this space. Yes. The next question. What cultural values must Colombians promote to strengthen national unity while respecting diversity? Okay, the Colombians must promote respect, okay, tolerance, cooperation, and solidarity to strengthen national unity. People abroad don't know how they are organized in the Pacific region, how criminals, gangsters are controlled, how to stop the violence, drug traffic, or the cartels. Then the order they manage will be an example with their anti-drugs policies, their state's aid to have more job opportunities. Next question. Can you explain what makes the Andina region unique compared to other Colombian regions? Okay, mira. The Andina region is unique because it has large cities because have a beautiful mountain and rich cultural heritage. We are fortunate to have the Eastern Cordillera, which branch off from the Central Cordillera. Therefore, our Andina zone is located in the Cundiboyacense Plateau, through which major trade routes connect the central region to the surrounding areas. Next question. Okay. Which place in the Andina region would you recommend that visitors must see and why? Okay, visitors must be Bogota, Villaleiva, and the coffee regions because they have important cultural and historic attraction. Inside his capital, Bogota, have more places like iconic places. They are similar because they are square, market square, historical square, like the founding square of Usaquén or the main square of Suba, where we find evidence of indigence. You can live the cultural activities with great communities in addition to local commerce and also cultural activity. Next question. What traditional food can tourists try when they visit the Andina region? Tourists can try to prove ajiaco, bandeja paisa, tamales, arepas. In the Andina region, it's the customary to have for breakfast. You can imagine one breakfast with potatoes, broth, which contains broth, onion, garlic, seasoned with herbs, and a creamy touch. In a rural village, it's customary to drink beer around the central square, which has colonial architecture, and enjoy the colonial architecture waiting the bus, the camion with a beer. Okay, the next question. Why must the traditional of the Andina communities be preserved? These traditions must be preserved because they help protect cultural identity and historical knowledge. In this region, we have forest reserves and UNESCO World Heritage sites. We can explore the eastern and western mountains range from which rivers flow, leading us to discover wetlands. We can also enjoy the botanical garden and the Vanderhammer Reserve. Also, we have at Bogota, for example, Parque Simón Bolívar, Parque Nacional, which much more water research. One with a lake and the other with a river. You understand? For example, Parque Simón Bolívar with a lake, Parque Nacional with a river. The next question. How can the Andina region contribute to Colombia culture diversity? The Andina region can contribute through the it through the aspect like music, food, traditional art, and historical heritage. The Andina region boasts a botanical garden with many different thermal soils to enjoy, especially highland, forest, paramos, and subparamos ecosystems. Special plants such as pine and eucalyptus are also found there. Next, what may surprise people from other regions when they learn about the Andina region? Okay, they may be surprised by the variety of climates, landscapes, and cultural traditions found in the region. We have much to show in a social tourism, in the history of the towns, from the modernist era, when in the 109 center 1950s, in the 50s, the towns were formed and were annexed to neighboring municipalities. And finally, what can aprendices from other regions learn from the people of the Andina. Aprendices can learn about hard work, cultural tradition, gastronomy, and communities. In particular, apprentices of Bogota have to learn more history of our city. We have urban planning to showcase the country story is based in the capital and extend through the regions. Important construction include the metro, Regio Tram, and the Carretera del Sol, which would reach the department of La Guajira. For the roads that connect the municipalities, that the Transmilenio extend to Mosquera. The railway project so that the train not only carries freight but also passengers to the coast. Thank you very much.
I can learn about the Pacific region tradition during cultural events. I can learn about the Pacific region landscape. We can learn many cultural values from these traditions. Colombians must preserve and promote these traditions because they are part of our identity. We may share these customs with future generations so they can respect and appreciate Colombians' cultural diversity. Yes, for example, I can take a trip in June the, to Washington and the beer of their cats. I can go by a speedboat from the port of Buenaventura.